In a world of superheroes, Aiden's greatest desire is to become a psychic. Howdy everyone, my name is Hit Games, and today I want to share my thoughts with you about a web novel series called Super Supportive. Super Supportive is at the time of recording one of the top 10 series on Royal Road. Royal Road is a community self-publishing writing website that holds a lot of inspired short stories, fan fictions, and web novels. If you like what I say here today, feel free to check out the website and discover your new favorite web novel to get lost in. First things first, I would really like to acknowledge the fact that this story so far has only been out for a little over a month. As of time of recording, it has been 38 days since the first chapter was published, and we are currently on 22 chapters right now. And within the first 21 chapters has managed to get into the top 10 Royal Road web series. A brief rundown of the story. The story starts with the main character waking up on the floor of his bedroom when he's 8 years old. A superhero versus supervillain battle occurred in his neighborhood, with the aftermath of the battle leaving him orphaned. From there, you learn more about the superhero community in the world and the role of psychics having in superhero battles, making sure civilians are kept out of harm's way while superheroes usually deal with supervillain threats. The story uses the main character being young and trying to understand the tragedy that happened to his family to teach you, the reader, more about the world. Aiden begins to hang out more with the psychic and is eventually invited to the superhero island where the superheroes and everyone with superpowers lives. And with that, he gets a desire to become a psychic himself. Cut to roughly 7 to 8 years later, and he is taking classes, trying to learn more of the requirements he would need to be an active superhero, and even befriends an alien that lives in the consulate of the species that is actually responsible for why everyone on Earth actually has superpowers. Eventually, the day happens where he unlocks the system, at which point he is then given the rank of B in power and is given a cudgel master, which mainly focuses on melee and doesn't fit well with the main character. One interesting thing about this system, rather than others, is the fact that you can trade powers within a 90-day period of being assigned to them. So that starts his journey of trying to trade his powers with someone else online. While doing that, he also needs to prepare to go to a funeral of his role model who inspired him to seek being a psychic. The main reason why humans are granted superpowers in this system is to work for our alien species and help them complete tasks when they need them to. And his friend went to complete a request, but after 6 months, she never returned. I will say slight spoilers for the story, but the alien demon friend that the main character Aiden makes heavily suggests to him that he should get a certain superhero class called Rabbit that mainly focuses on teleportation. The class is mainly hinted at early on, but the main focus of the class is about teleportation and trying to get people transported from one area to another, which, if that is the character's actual superpower throughout the story, I would be pleasantly surprised by that. I can't really think of any other superhero or other fantasy stories that have teleportation being the go-to power. I think it's a really unique and cool idea that I'm looking forward to seeing more fleshed out throughout the story. Other than the main character, the rest of the characters are pretty forgettable. There's an alien in the consulate and the sidekick role model, but other than those two other characters, the rest don't get a lot of time to really flush themselves out. But I will say all the characters do get somewhat of a sense of agency. The two side characters both get multiple paragraphs showing their perspective of events and what they were thinking of at the time. There are two other side characters being the friends of the main character, and they are given moments to shine a little bit, one of which is more paranoid, but rightly so, about superheroes and the government spying on them, which is revealed to be partially true. After some events, they notice a superhero keeping tabs on an area they suspected Aiden to be. So Aiden and his friend travel to a different city to keep working on trading his power for a new one. The story itself is still pretty early in its infancy, and on the superhero island there's supposedly a school for superheroes or anyone just with powers so that they can better acclimate to them. The author has stated, and it's pretty obvious, that that is when the story will pick up the pace and really start introducing more characters and powers and actually implementing them and hopefully putting them through scenarios and all that, which once again states how impressive this story is for making it to the top 10 selection of Royal Road while still being so early in its story, but rightfully so. Now, the character has stated that he wants to be a superhero, more precisely a sidekick, which implies that there'll be a lot more action scenes in the story, which we haven't really got a chance to see so far. The story starts off with the aftermath of an action scene, but you as a reader don't actually get the chance to see it. Of course, that makes me nervous. Seeing other superhero stories, usually can't wait to cut to the action, either a bit big or small. From fighting a giant robot to a simple chase scene, and the fact that we're over 20 chapters in the story and we haven't had seen much of anything so far really makes me worried. But like I said earlier, the school setting should help with that a lot. Not to say that I'm unappreciative of what we've gotten so far. A lot of slow, intimate conversations between characters and learning more and more about the individuals and the world and the desires of them, like how the mentor sidekick character had a desire of seeing more and more sidekicks in the world to help support superheroes and be more than the sum of their parts when they work together, and how she uses her powers to achieve those ends, and more of the begrudging friendship between Aiden and the alien who works at the embassy, and getting to see the mindset of the alien and learning more about his history, which stirs more questions than answers. But of course, the more you read, the more you want to read more and find out more about the world and future characters interacting with it. So far, we've already established that there are multiple species of aliens and a large pool of possible powers that the characters will have access to, not to mention countries from all around the world with their own citizens having powers, most of which are going to an island filled with other superheroes and superpowered individuals, but of course leaving open a possibility to supervillains and the like, causing mischief and mayhem throughout the story. All in all, leaving plenty of room for the story to continue with the school, requests from the aliens, supervillains, island political issues between superhero families, not to mention any other future threats that can hinder the protagonist that the author wants to add, like natural disasters or actual massive scale wars occurring. All in all, I'm pretty sure you can guess that I really did enjoy reading this series so far, and I'm looking forward to reading more upcoming chapters. And if you like superhero stories with in-depth characters, well thought out plots, and at the end of the day just a big superhero fan, I think you really enjoy Super Supportive. And once again, if you like the story and you want to read more, please head over to royalroad.com. If you agreed or disagree with me today, or would you like me to review another story, please leave a comment. I would love to know what you think. Thank you.